From hobby scraps to professional bouquets, the ultimate pipe cleaner flower journey. The world of chenille flower bouquets has taken social media by storm, promising professional-looking floral arrangements made entirely from soft, fuzzy pipe cleaners. It looks effortless in those high-speed, 30-second montages, but as a beginner, I wanted to see if those results were actually achievable at home. My journey began with a pile of basic white and purple pipe cleaners and ended with a surprising level up thanks to a specialized crafting kit. This is the story of how I tried making 3 different flower types and what I learned along the way. The humble beginning, setting the scene. Before we dive into the petals and stems, let's talk about the starting point. I didn't have a professional studio or a background in floral design. I just had a flat, gray textured surface and a few handfuls of craft supplies. This craft-at-home phase is where most people start. It's honest, it's a bit messy, and it's where you truly learn how the material behaves. Working with pipe cleaners is unique because they are both flexible and rigid. You can bend them into any shape, but if you bend them too much, they lose their strength. I realized quickly that while these are simple tools, mastering them requires a steady hand and a bit of patience. Flower type 1, the classic white daisy, the first attempt. For my very first flower, I decided to go with a classic white daisy. It felt like the safest bet for a beginner. Using only white pipe cleaners for the petals and a small green scrap for the center, I began the process. The technique was simple. I looped the white stems to create 4 or 5 individual petals. However, I immediately ran into my first challenge. Without a structured wire frame or a guide, the petals didn't want to stay symmetrical. One would be long and thin, while the next would be short and round. By the time I attached the green center, the flower had a certain tandem. Flower type 3, the structured rose, the level up. The third flower I tackled was the centerpiece of the action kit, the structured red rose. Using the kit's specific instructions and the more rigid red stems, the difference was immediate and shocking. The process for the rose was much more methodical than my previous freehand attempts. Instead of just looping, I was now rolling and layering the stems to create the illusion of depth found in real rosebuds. The kit's materials held their shape much better than my at-home scraps, allowing for a much finer level of detail. When I added the specialized green leaves and the structured stem provided in the kit, the transformation was complete. I wasn't just making a craft anymore, I was creating a piece of decor. Seeing the vibrant red rose alongside the delicate, fuzzy lavender stems showed just how much a few professional-grade materials and a bit of guidance can elevate a project from basic to advanced. Reflecting on the journey, beginner versus pro. Looking back at my table, the contrast was undeniable. On one side sat my white and purple first tries, honest, simple, and a bit wonky. On the other side was the action kit, bouquet, bright, structured, and genuinely impressive. But here's the secret. I couldn't have made the rose as well as I did if I hadn't struggled with the white daisy first. Those early mistakes taught me how to twist the wire, how much pressure to apply, and why symmetry matters. The kit provided the level up, but the craft at home phase provided the foundation. Final verdict: don't settle for basic. So, what is the final verdict? If you are looking for a relaxing afternoon activity, grabbing some basic pipe cleaners and making your own first-try flowers is a wonderful way to spend your time. There is a unique joy in seeing something you created from scratch, regardless of how perfect it looks. However, if you want to create a gift or a display piece that people will stop and stare at,